All right. Good evening, cowboys, cowgirls, and outlaws. We're live again by popular demand. Um, Apologize if, sometimes I cut in and out. It has a tendency to do with the green screen. But yeah, so we are going to be doing a live stream again. And so this is pretty interesting that we got on this. By it's just crazy. Ended up doing a poll and had quite a few votes, and it turns out that people wanted this, so here I am. So anyway, basically the way this works. Hey Jack, thank you for your recommendation. As you can see, this is what we're going to be talking about: the hammer double. Hopefully you can see that up there. And so before we kind of get into that, and I know that I'm kind of cutting in and out, I'll try and sit as still as possible. Sometimes that's difficult to do. But nonetheless, it's just, I have to kind of do this for dramatic effect. Anyway, I digress. So why don't you guys go ahead and get your cup of coffee, all that stuff. Get your beer and all that. And we'll definitely be having a conversation. So today I'm going to be drinking some soda. It's what I was drinking earlier, but I also drink coffee, beer, all that stuff. If you could, just go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments section. I always like to give a shout out to people. The way this works is I'm basically going to be talking about a hammer double, which as you guys can see is what is up here. I'm going to be talking about my experiences with it, my opinions of it, and all that stuff. If you guys have been paying attention to any of my content, you're going to see that I do a lot of introductions on some firearms, but this is not one of them. This is me just generally talking about it, my opinions of it, ups, downs, answer your questions as much as possible, and then we basically kind of go from there. I hopefully, wherever you're watching from, these live streams really depends on what kind of engagement we get. So, I mean, the more questions I get, the longer it goes. So ask your questions as we go along about this shotgun. Hopefully I titled it right and everything. Do me a favor, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button so that we can kind of start pushing this live stream out and get more people joining. It always helps. That's basically the bare minimum that I would ask. And I know not everyone does it, but, it does help whether you think so or not. So thank you for pushing that like button and help me out here. So anyway, okay. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this shotgun. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section and I'll get there. So this shotgun that I have is a TTN. It is an import from Italy, and it is imported by Cimarron. Okay. Cimarron is not a manufacturer. It is a importer. And I picked it up from a friend of mine. So I enjoyed getting it for a relatively low price, who I was with. And, it's just kind of one of those things that I had done some searching for, and I found out one of my friends had it in the cowboy action circles, and so I decided to buy it. It was quite a while ago. I've had this shotgun for many years. We're talking probably, gosh, at least 6-7 years now I've had it. So, that's kind of something that, we always like to mention, is that it's just, these 6 or 7 years that we have them, and I do have a lot of this stuff, and I hold on to it, and I may use it frequently, I may not. But I have had it for quite a while. I purchased it for a relatively low amount. You're talking I think I probably paid about $300 for it. Shotguns in general have a tendency to be less expensive, and the repros, even of the Western shotguns, have a tendency to be on the cheaper side anyway. So that was street price. I think market price it would have been about 450. So I got a pretty decent deal on it. I don't know exactly how old the shotgun was. Anyway, so let me kind of talk to you a little bit about the features of it. If you look at the shotgun up here, you're going to see that it's got two triggers, one here and one there. One's for the right hammer, one's for the left hammer. The front one is for the right hammer, the rear one is for the left hammer. That's just typically how I've seen them set up. It does have, as you can see, it does have what they call rabbit ear hammers up here. So you're definitely going to see that. And the barrel itself, I want to say, is 18 inches. 18, 19 inches, somewhere around there. Can't be less than 18 inches according to federal law. But coach guns generally are shorter anyway. So, it already comes with a short barrel. There's no need to worry about having to saw it off, which is great. So, especially if you're using it for competition, it already comes with a short barrel. So, you don't need to worry about that. I would say that on first impressions, the aesthetics of it, because I'm such a big aesthetic guy, it's just a good looking shotgun. I would say that the wood is extremely solid on it. It's probably the thickest type of stock that I've seen on a shotgun when it comes to the wood itself. Very sturdy. You feel when you're holding that thing that it's a solid piece. So, I mean, it's great. I will say that the forend is a little on the nimbler side, on the smaller side. It's not, it doesn't encapsulate both barrels. It actually goes in between, in that little rib area. So it has a tendency to feel as if you're gripping the barrels as well, which actually is quite normal. You don't really notice it, nor do you really care. I'm just talking about the aesthetics on it. So, just letting you know that's kind of what it's like to hold that thing. As far as operation is concerned, the aesthetics I said are great. I think it's one of the prettiest looking shotguns I have. I have used it more frequently in recent years, more so than my Stoeger, even though my Stoeger was kind of my go-to. For those of you who don't know, my Stoeger is it's an internal hammer shotgun, but it's a side-by-side. So similar to this, but the hammers are on the inside. So that's kind of what we're dealing with there on that. But I'd say I kind of prefer it for several reasons. The first being is that the barrel in competition automatically has no need to cock anything on it, so it just drops. So if even though it's a short barrel, you end up hitting that. PJ says hello, thank you. So welcome to the show, PJ. That barrel just drops immediately once you open the latch, and you guys can see where the latch is on it. It's up here, so that nice little thumb latch. You just click that over to the side. That barrel falls right open. So those barrels fall right open, I should say. So that's something that I would say is kind of an advantage to it, and also appealing to it, especially in competition, because then you don't have to force the thing open. It just drops, and you can essentially one-hand it from there. It is pretty smooth in my opinion when it comes to loading the shells, as long as you load them, correctly, I would say. And correctly is relative. I mean, if you're in competition, I know you kind of do kind of a interesting little hold when you're trying to just shove them in at the same time. But if you're, wanting to do one at a time, they usually just slide right in. And I will say I think the barrels actually go more to the vertical, to essentially allow you to drop them in a lot smoother. So that's my opinion on that. Now, although cool, but is a bit of a downside. But once again, when you're talking internal hammers versus external, one of the downsides to it, but the cool factor, is that you get to cock the hammers manually. And I already explained to you where those are at. Those are rebounding hammers, actually, on a TTN. They do not go down into the fired position without having the trigger pulled. And they automatically will pop back into a locked position once fired. So I just want to let you know, if you guys have issues with rebounding hammers, that's something that, you just got to consider. If you guys have any questions in the comments section, just go ahead and drop it. I'll try to answer it as often as I can. And, I typically give people shout outs when they jump on. If I don't get to you, I apologize. I know that some things have a tendency to be not as immediate. So I have been talking the majority of the day. I do want to let people know. It's kind of one of those things that, if you, let's see, I want to say earlier we did a live stream and I talked for probably about 2 hours, I want to say it was about 2 hours straight. So, well, an hour and a half. So, I mean, I do get a little exhausted with talking, but I'll try to keep the conversation going if we don't have any engagement in the community. I know I keep begging you guys to ask questions, but you just have to understand I'm in a room all by myself, so it's kind of weird. I'm fine with it, but like I was explaining to somebody earlier, it's like you're kind of talking to yourself in your head, and so you can hear the echo everywhere, and you kind of get the feeling that you're nuts. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking to somebody, and I'm just explaining this thing up here. All right. So, kind of going on to the shotgun itself. As I said, the hammers are rebounding, which is a good safety feature, in my opinion. But it's an extra movement that you're going to have to do. But I do also have to say that the cool thing about it is that you can actually cock the hammers at the same time with one thumb, or just simply take your hand and slide it over the top, and you can pretty much just hit both hammers at the same time. And the reason being is most side-by-sides, at least external hammers that I've seen, excluding this one, including the Rossi Overland, I think the JW2000 is another one that's a Chinese-made shotgun. Those hammers, the rabbit ears are kind of small on them. So, they're a little short and stubby. You can kind of see that these ones are nice and long. And you actually have to cock one at a time. You have to cock the hammers one at a time. And so that can kind of slow you down on your timing. But with that being said, you get the nostalgia of shooting a Western gun, that more or less was probably the most popular, at least on stagecoaches and maybe all around. I'm not familiar with how prices of shotguns back in the day were, but I can definitely tell you that shotguns are cheaper now, even in the cowboy action community, than the rifles and the pistols, So that's up to you when it comes to the different types we got. Recoil on it is a 12 gauge, for those of you who are asking. I do use 12 gauge in competition mostly. I use 20 as well, is another one. Those are the ones that are authorized. You can utilize 10 gauge, 16, 28 gauge. You just can't go lower than, you can't shoot a 410 shotgun in competition unless you're a kid. because that requires being in a certain category and is, for the most part, is an age-based category to my understanding. So I think if you're over the age of 12 or 15, over the age of 15, I think you have to be graduating to at least a 20 gauge or more. So yes, it is a 12 gauge. I do shoot 12 gauge in competition. With that, common question that I get asked is, well, how's the recoil handle? And to be honest with you, 12 doesn't really hurt me that much. But then again, the types of ammunition matter. So, I'm utilizing mostly lightweight loads. So, the recoil on it is manageable. Now if you're using heavier loads on it, factory ammunition, it might be more noticeable, but you're talking to a guy that has been shooting for quite some time, and I think the last time I really had any major damage on my shoulder from shooting a shotgun was probably when I was about 13, 14. So I don't really get that. But then again, in competition, the shotgun is typically the least fired one, at least that I've seen. But it also depends on the stage. So, that's great. Hey, for those of you that are jumping in, hit me on the like button. Let these people know that we're out on a live stream. I did let people know when it came to the notifications and the posts that we were doing the live stream. I know a lot of people actually wanted to do it. I think we had about a 60% poll of those who voted. And mind you, I think I only had 12 or 13 people vote, but we ended up getting a pretty good majority. So just hit that like button. Let's get some notifications out there. Thank you very much. And introduce yourself in the comments section. I'll probably say this periodically, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But let's just get a conversation going. We're talking about this hammered double up here. Okay. So, jump in the comments, ask me questions about it. Shoot, you could even ask questions about me. If you don't know who I am, you don't know what I do, you want to know about my personal life, I'm here for the audience. So, that's what this is about. We enjoy doing stuff like this. Let me know if you like my Q&As. I've tried to be a little bit more specific with them. I've done a few things over the last couple of days to include update the background, even though people might think it's somewhat annoying. But it's just because I got a green screen in the back, and I really want to have a nice picture of what we're talking about. Because unfortunately, the way YouTube is right now, and well, it's been this way for a long time, is that you can't handle firearms in live streams. It's not allowed. I'll get kicked off, and I don't want to do that. So, that's their community guidelines, their beliefs, not mine. So that's not, if I could have the ability to bring the live shotgun on, I would. I just can't, so we'll just have to settle for a picture and hopefully have questions. Anyway, so let's get a conversation going, guys. Talked a little bit about that shotgun and, some rounds that I've used for it, some shells. I have shot black powder through it as well. I think it's really cool. Yes, you can fire both triggers at the same time. Winston Bennett said, would you prefer a tree grow or a knee grow? I think I already had that joke earlier. I think maybe that was you. I'm not sure. It was a good joke, and I get it. So it's not as funny this time, but I get what you're saying. So thank you for tuning in, Winston. Make sure you hit that like button. Jack, good to see you again. I know you said hi in the beginning. Thanks for asking me some questions. One vet to another, what did you do in the Army? I did many things, but my MOS was 11 Alpha and 74 Alpha. So if I'm speaking Greek to you, that's okay. I'll explain it. But I was an infantry officer for 4 years, and then I was a chemical officer for 8 years. So that's what I did. Specifically, I was as far as rank was concerned, I'm a captain on paper. I got selected for major '04, but I didn't get to pin major. So, 36 years old, and it is what it is. So, I actually got out a couple years ago. This summer will be 2 years. So, when I say a couple, I'm accurate in that. So yeah, I got out a couple years ago, out in 2023, and I've been doing this as well as my day job. So anyway, what about you, Jack? Let me know. I'd like to know what you did. Thanks for asking the question, though. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so as far as kind of like Devin Hamilton, what do you like to hunt with it? I don't hunt with it. And the reason why, can you hunt with it? Sure, you can, but this is just me personally. I don't hunt with my competition guns on, I just don't. I have the majority of my collection is guns that I would utilize for competition, so I don't hunt with a majority of them. There's a handful of guns that I do hunt with, and this gun here is not one of them. So the guns that I utilize when it comes to, when it comes to the firearms that I have for hunting, I use a pump action shotgun, Mossberg Maverick 88. I've utilized that. I utilize a single shot shotgun as well. It's a H&R. And I utilize, what else have I used? Some guns that I actually don't have anymore. I sold them. I used a muzzle loader. God, I had it for years. It was an inline muzzle loader. I used that for deer hunting. I had a lever action rifle that was the Browning lever action rifle in .308 caliber. I've used that. So I haven't used it to hunt, man. I'm sorry. But you could use it if you really wanted to. Thanks for asking. So I'll kind of talk a little bit about some negatives of it and then try to go to the positives. I did say a few positive things and some negative things, but just some downright honest to God criticism, I guess, if you will, of the thing itself. If you're thinking about getting it, it's probably more expensive than the run of the mill shotguns. Even though I only got mine for $300, spending $450 for it, that's still a little bit more on the expensive side. There are more expensive shotguns out there. Trust me. A lot of people recommend getting CZs. CZ Sharp Tails or whatever. Some of them have Brownings as well, which I know those can get pretty expensive. So, I mean, it's kind of a mid-range, if you will. But as far as hammer doubles, it's probably one of the more expensive you could get. All the others I'm mentioning are typically side-by-side internal hammer. But yeah, and pardon, if I'm wrong, let me know. I don't know if CZ makes an external hammer shotgun. If they do, please let me know. I'd say it's, on the, I'd say it's kind of in the mid-range. But when you're starting out, it's probably going to be more expensive than you'd like to pay. But that is, once again, kind of up to you. When I got into cowboy action shooting, my first shotgun, which I still have, by the way, is an internal hammer Stoger. It works. I had to clean it. It was malfunctioning after about 8 years of use. So I needed to fix that, and it wasn't a big deal. you know, it was one of the firing pins was getting light primer strikes, and so I found out that it had a bunch of stuff in the firing pin hole that was basically obstructing the firing pin from reaching the primer. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's a good shotgun overall. More criticism to boot. It is a pretty shotgun, so I kind of baby it. You know, for being a mid-level shotgun, I would say in price-wise, I still baby it. I baby all my stuff anyway, except for my guns that I carry on the daily basis and the ones that I utilize for practicality and don't use for competition. The main reason being that I do that is it's kind of, you know, you can find the stuff that I'm talking about, but I'll be honest, a lot of the cowboy action equipment or the guns that you're going to buy is expensive. And you're going to want to take care of it and make sure it looks good. You know, you don't want to have anything beat up, rusty, or messed up. But I mean, you know, to each their own. Everybody treats their stuff differently, I would say. And that is 100% on them. So, cheers. So, yeah. Red, come here. I'll come say hi to the camera. Sorry, I'm cutting in and out. Hopefully the audio is good and the video is good. It's just taking a little bit of... I got to remember I got the green screen behind me. I can take the green screen off if it's driving people crazy. I just kind of wanted it to be more of a conversation starter. You know, figured that people would be more interested in watching. But, you know, I could be wrong. Anyway, I got my little puppy dog here. He's watching. He's definitely taking notes and asking for pets and all that good stuff. So, anyway, we're almost to a 30-minute mark. You know, if you got questions, let me know. Go ahead and hit that like button. Red, you're getting in my way. Nah. Sorry. Okay. There we go. All right, Jack says U.S. Air Force plumbing specialist, Army National Guard, Cav Scout, and armorer. Okay, great. So you were a Cav Scout. Not 12, not 13, not 11 series. 16 series. So I want to say you're a 16 series, if I'm correct. So you're 16 series in the U.S. Air Force plumbing specialist. How long did you stay in the Air Force, if you don't mind me asking? You know, how long were you in the Air Force, Jack? When did you serve? Let me know. And then, you know, Cav Scout and armorer. Okay, so you went to the armorer's course and then distroed weapons out of the arms room. Okay, cool. Awesome. Did you get to ride in a Bradley? I can certainly attest to that. So, I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, man, this is driving me crazy. Green screen on. All right. Okay, maybe that'll help. Let me fix this just a bit. Sorry, I know that I've got some administrative stuff to take care of. There we go. Okay, is that better? I hope that works with the camera. Anyway, I know I'm just sitting here jaw jacking. But yeah, let me know, Jack, what it was like being in the Army for you back when you were. Let me know when you served, both Army and Air Force, Army National Guard. What state, if nothing else, let me know on that one. For those of you guys that don't know, I put down in the description section that we've got that we actually got a raffle going on. So by all means, go there, take a look at it. If you enter into it, whenever the fundraiser's done, we'll be announcing the raffle winners, and you guys will get a nice little handsome prize, both in cash and items. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But that's for helping me acquire an original Henry for the channel, which would be really awesome. And we can all admit, I think that that is something that people would love to see. Because to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of content out there on them. There's not a lot of YouTubers that do it, and you can understand why, because they're very expensive to have. And then on top of that, there's only like one or two other people that I know that have one and have shown them on the channel, on their channel, but they don't go into detail about like what I do. And you guys know that I would do a good job. So, all the more power to go ahead and just contribute to the fundraiser there. So, anyway. Cool. All right. Jack, 4 years, U.S. Air Force in Nam, 70 and 74, Massachusetts National Guard, a lifetime ago. Okay. Did you retire? I know you did 4 years active, but if you're in the National Guard, you can be in it for a certain amount of time and then be considered retired at age 65. You may not be. That's okay. Vietnam. All right. So you did 2 tours. Okay. That is pretty significant right there, brother. I'll tell you what. There's my dad was a Vietnam vet. And I say was because he's not here anymore. I wish he was. He isn't. He died a couple months ago. So that so anyway, I'll answer that in a second. But he died a couple months ago, and he was in Vietnam. He did a tour over there. And I distinctly remember asking him, and unfortunately, I wish I could ask him more about it, but I never really thought to because I was always growing up. I always I wanted to ask him what he thought of his service. What did he think of his service during the time? What did he think of his service in Vietnam? How did he feel about how the war was going? I did ask him that a couple of times, and for the most part, it was actually pretty positive. Um, you know, for him, he was a volunteer, and he felt that they were doing the right thing, and more power to him, man. Yeah, not everybody was drafted, as always. I think people have kind of a misunderstanding of that. The people did volunteer to go. People like my dad did. But if you were drafted, it doesn't matter. You served your country. I'm glad you were there. Thanks for making this country a better place to be in because of you guys like you and those before. You know, we've done our part, and I certainly can respect that. And having been in the service myself, I know what kind of sacrifices you made to do that, so I appreciate it, man. Samantha says hammered coach gun is greater than non-hammered coach gun. In what way? I would like to know. That's a good opinion, and I'd say that is an opinion. It depends on what you do the competition for. If you're doing it to win, I mean, if people are doing it to win, they're gonna have the best equipment possible, the fastest equipment possible. But not only that, but they're gonna practice. So practice means a lot there. With a hammered shotgun, you're gonna have to practice a lot more, in my opinion. Doesn't mean you couldn't be as fast or faster. Definitely aesthetically, I think they're cooler. But then again, it also depends on what color metal you got and what kind of, aesthetically, what are you into? So, I appreciate you sharing that opinion. My opinion is, I've never been faster with a hammered double, but relatively, I think it can be fast. And with practice, I'm sure you can get fast, if not faster. All right, Jack says, no, served during the Vietnam War, but never went. Okay, well, nonetheless, your time in service meant something. I mean, whether you win or not, you still supported the war effort. I mean, that is what it is, man. So, I mean, there's guys that didn't do it. There's guys that dodged it, you know? So, I mean, you got people like that too. So, but obviously, we ended up switching out to an all volunteer army later on, for quite a few reasons. Reasons that I think are for the better, not for the worse, but that's my opinion. Anyway, okay, well, cool. If you want to say anything more about that, let me know. We can have a conversation vet to vet and just talk about it. You know, if you were in the Cav Scout, I think I asked you, let me know if you're ever in a Bradley or armored vehicle, 113 or something like that. Hey, Peru, welcome back on, brother. Nice to see you. Today we're talking about hammered double shotguns. I talked a little bit about the shotgun that I have, and I can bring it back up on screen if people are wanting that. Please let me know in the comments section if you want to see it, but I can't bring it up in the actual live stream, unfortunately. But the hammered doubles I think are pretty good. I think TTN does a good job. For the most part, a lot of people I've talked to, they're some of the most solid hammered double shotguns you can get. I have had others, so if you want to talk about those too, one of the ones that I had was a hammered double was a JW 2000, which, as I said, is a Chinese replica, and I hated it, to be honest. I bought it because I thought it looked cool, and I wanted something other than internal hammer. And like I said, I'm a bit of a collector, so I collect quite a bit. So you're talking about, you know, it runs endless with what I collect. So I don't discriminate. 113 and Jeep and the eggshell. Okay. Not familiar with the eggshell. I have an idea what you're talking about, but I definitely know the 113. So, because that is what the Cav still has them, but their main track is the Bradleys. And I think from they've upgraded to the M2A4 or something like that. And, because I think it was, when I was in, it was the M2A3 variant, and then the field artillery guys had the M3A3. But then I know recently they've upgraded to the M2A4 or some newer variant of the Bradley, which for the most part, I don't know what they have on it. I'm sure it's not necessarily a new weapon system, but just better technology. Maybe a more digitized platform for all I know. That's kind of what they do is they usually upgrade the internals while keeping the external kind of the same, maybe upgrading the armor itself. That's interesting. Okay, Peru says, what do you think would happen if you showed an IRL rifle or a pistol on live? Do you think YouTube would terminate? So, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. This is what I was doing before, okay? And the reason why I stopped doing it was because I was kind of flickering in and out. So let me know in the comment section if you want me to keep it on so that it can kind of be a discussion piece, because that's really what I was trying to do. But I also understand that it might irritate people that I'm flashing in and out because of the green screen. And once again, this has to do with the fact that I'm in a green screen. I really don't have control over that. The only thing I have control over is what I wear, which basically I don't want to wear anything that's going to blur me out completely and blend me in, which this is kind of starting to. But if I wear all white, it's going to do that, so I have to wear something with color in it. And obviously I don't want to wear green because it's going to completely take me out. Anyway, so that's with that. I meant if you brought a gun from your inventory, yeah, they would. They would terminate me. The instant that you put a hand on a firearm or you hold it, maybe not touch it, I don't know, but the instant that you hold it, they're going to cut you off. The main reason is because they don't want people to self delete in front of a live audience. So, I mean, that's just their policy. It's not mine. So, I unfortunately can't do that, but, you know, we got the picture here. So we can discuss it. And it's the same picture of the exact one I have. In fact, that is the shotgun. So, you know, yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking the live streams and all that stuff. We're doing quite a bit. I'm gonna put you guys on a brief hold because I need to turn the air on. It's kind of hot in here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to turn the air conditioning back on because it was getting a little hot. I was starting to sweat, and to be honest with you, I'm in front of a bunch of lights. I got lights everywhere. I got natural lighting. I got regular lights. You know, you can kind of see that the light in front of me is pretty intense, so it is portraying my shadow in the background. So anyway, appreciate the question though. So I hope that helps. But yeah, what other stuff you got? We're just here chilling on a live stream on a Monday night, Monday evening. Anyway, if you had to estimate how many guns and rifles do you have? 48. I have 48. It's a lot. There's a lot of guns, to be honest. You know, it's pretty intense. Been collecting for a long period of time. No estimation. No, I'm not gonna. I know exactly how many I have. I count them all the time. I make sure that they're all there because I have a place where I keep them. It's not in my house except for the ones that I use for protection. So I keep a lot of that stuff. Get off. Get off. So I keep a lot of that stuff in another building, actually, in another room. And so from time to time, I go in there and I have to actually count it. I want to make sure nothing's stolen, broken into. So apologize. My dog might be a little irritating. So, yes, I know, Mr. Puppy. You want attention. He wants attention. What can I say? He's a dog. What is the oldest weapon you have? Good question. I have a Colt magazine lightning rifle, or a Colt lightning magazine rifle, whichever way you want to say it, or Colt lightning rifle. That was made in 1884. It is marked SFP, so it was made for this. It was given to the San Francisco Police Department. It has a serial number of 258, and so it's a beauty, man. But she doesn't look that old. All right, so what's unique about those? Sorry, what's unique about those SFP models is they really weren't used a lot. I mean, at least the one that I got, boy, it wasn't used at all. I probably have about 90% bluing on it, for original bluing. That wood is all original. The barrel's in perfect condition. I've had it, and this is the sad part. I have had it for 4 years, I think. It's also my most expensive gun. So I'll be 100% upfront on that one. And rightfully it should be because it's in the most pristine condition that I have as far as older guns. And it's just, man, it's immaculate. You know, and I have shown it on the show. You guys can go back at my videos and take a look at that. I talk about it in my coffee podcast. I have not shot it on the channel, unfortunately. It is in an ASMR video that is coming up. It's in a top 5 video, so you guys can see that. How much did it cost? Okay, $4,500. So I will say that it was $4,500 to get that thing, and it's worth every penny, in my opinion. If you blue book value of it, I mean, that's about where it would be anyway. So I didn't overpay for it. I've seen people try to sell them for as much as 10 grand, but they aren't in the condition that mine's in. You know, so it's good looking. So thanks for asking though. I don't really get a whole lot of people that ask that question, but anyway, that's it's a good looking gun. It's a very strong gun, solid lockup. Mainspring on it works great, so it's gonna set off primers. You know, I haven't taken the thing apart, you know, but I'm sure there's probably some stuff in there I don't know about, but the thing works, at least right now, and it will work for some time. Granted, I haven't shot it, but I'll shoot it at some point. It's just, you know, once again, this kind of goes back to, this is kind of why I have the channel. I utilize my videos to kind of give myself an excuse to go shooting sometimes. And unfortunately, I don't have that many I don't have as many shooting videos as I would like. So, it is what it is. So thank you for asking that. But yeah, it might be wherever you're at, man. You know, you're in Europe, man. So, is it my favorite? No. Ironically, no. I just love how it looks, and it's very good looking, and it's very unique looking. But my favorite is my Henry. Now, give me a chance to get that original, and that might become my new favorite because I just like Henry original repeating or the original replicas or the original design of the toggle link action. I just think they're beautiful. I don't know how to describe it. You know, they're just very solid guns, solid looking, one piece metal, just looks very tough, and it's a piece of art, in my opinion. So, you know, but I'm a different breed all its own when it comes to, you know, the cowboy action community. Not everybody's like me, so, you know, a lot of people want to get into the competition part, and that's them, but that's not me. So you don't come to my channel to learn techniques on how to be fast. I may show you how fast I am, but you may be asking me, man, that's not really that fast at all. And that's okay, because I know I don't practice. You know, I know that people that are fast do practice. So, you know. But anyway, one sport that I try to get fast in is fast draw, though. That's a little easier to practice for, to be honest. It's one gun. One gun in fast draw. And all you got to do is pull it out of the holster as fast as you can. You can practice that and dry fire it all day long. That's one thing I will say about fast draw, though. As far as competition-wise, you have a little bit of a fairer advantage in some ways. Others not so much. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, so we'll see how many other people we got on here. If you guys haven't already done so, make sure you hit that like button. Give me a question down in the comments. I'll try to introduce you into the comments and all that stuff. I'm not going to hide from it. Of course, if I get a million comments all at once, keep in mind I'll probably have to scroll back and it might take a little bit of time, but you never know. So, anyway, I did spend some time making some more content for you guys today, so just understand that. We do I'm out all the way as far as shorts content is concerned. I have videos ready to go all the way until November. So I do want to let you guys know that, okay? So you guys got plenty of content that's coming up, and it'll be great. Long form content, like I said, I got my strategy for that. This is one of them. So, we're doing long form content right now. Granted, it's probably not what everyone wants to see. Peru, I plan about a year ahead. It's just a different monster. Just like with any career you pick, you want to do the best that you can at it, and how can you do the best? Well, I try to make sure that I plan ahead a little bit, and as I said, I think you were here, maybe not, I do batch content. What batch content making is basically you pick a time within a week or a couple weeks and you just make as much content as you can. You dedicate all that time to doing it, and then you publish it far in enough advance that you don't have to feel stressed out to create content. That was something that I was running into when I first got into this channel. I was trying to put out a video every week, and I was constantly getting stressed out about not putting it out on time because everybody was like, hey, you got to be consistent. And to be honest with you, they're not wrong, okay? Because there's been times where I have not made content and people have probably wondered where I am, what I'm doing, even if I'm continuing to do the channel. Shoot, I even had a time where I basically made no content for an entire year. But that was not my fault. It was actually because I was deployed overseas. I didn't have time to do this. Didn't have the resources to do it. I was in another country. But yeah, I pretty much make yearly plans. Kind of started doing that last year. So you could say that I'm in my year of planning, if you will. But yeah, basically the way it works is I create posts for every day. Sometimes I change the posts, kind of like if you guys have been paying attention to my postings, I've been changing them up. Sometimes I may delete a post and not repost it, or I may forget to post it. I may schedule it but forget to post it. Sometimes that happens too. So I have a post for every day. I try to spend time to focus on that. And I want to say it takes me about a month to get a post for every day. That's if I'm working every day on it for a certain amount of time. And then I typically go to shorts content after that. And shorts content, to make a year's worth of shorts content is really hard. The most I can get in a day of production is about 15 days worth. And I don't do it every day. Mind you, I also have a day job, so that's kind of one of those things that, you got to plan. And I got a family too, so I got to plan accordingly. But the good news is I've got a little bit of time to kind of take care of it over the last couple of days, and I've kind of been producing a lot more. That may slow down, but I'm going to try to get it done for you guys, okay? And then after that, as I said, we're doing live streams. I've been wanting to do live streams again for a long time, and I think live streams are great because I get to meet the audience. And then on top of that, I don't have to edit any of this, which is great. And editing is half my problem, about 3/4 of my problem. So, what happened to your hand. I was telling somebody earlier that basically what ended up happening was I was working on my car the other day, and I was twisting out the cartridge for the oil filter, and I ended up scraping it on a piece of metal pretty hard, and it took a nice sliver of skin off. It's healing, so don't worry about it. Nothing life altering here. So anyway, thanks for letting me know. But thanks for caring. Appreciate it. A lot of people care about my well-being on this channel, so he asked me some of the smallest things. Are you hurt? Are you sick? What were the medical bills like? I didn't get anything. I didn't get sent to the hospital for this. I didn't go see a doctor for that. So, no medical bills. Thank you. So anyway, that's that one. But yeah, so we're doing the live stream stuff, and then, as I said, once I get done batch content creating all the shorts content, I'll start making long form content to include regular videos and podcasts and all that, and then basically just backwards plan it all the way from December 31st to whatever the date is now. Get to that point, and then once I have a video for every day of the year, I move on to the next year. Is it complicated? No, it's not, but it is very hard to keep up, and I have my motivations to do so. So I'm trying. I'm trying for you guys. Anyway, let me know what you guys are drinking. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. It is 6:57 right now. It's almost 7 o'clock, and we're almost at the hour mark, man. We're almost at the hour mark, so we can talk more about the hammer double shotguns if you want, and my dog is going to go crazy here. He's going to try and jump on me. No. No. Sorry. No. Stop. No. Down. Come over here. That's fine. All right. Anyway. So. Anyway, let me know what else you got. Thanks, Baru, for asking quite a few questions here, man. Iced coffee. What state you in, Jack? Are you in Massachusetts? Because it's late. It's late. Isn't that stuff going to keep you up, man? I'm drinking soda. You could argue the same thing. Yeah, it'll probably keep me up too. So. Anyway. You guys want me to post the picture up of the shotgun again? You have any other questions on the shotgun? Do that, you know? We can chit chat, talk, have a grand old time. Just like a bunch of old friends chatting around the fireside. You know. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I hope you guys are enjoying my channel. I've worked hard on it for a long time. And boy, if you could see some of my videos from way back when, you'd cringe. I know I do. I was actually looking at one today, and yes to Massachusetts, no to coffee keeping me up. Okay, I got you, man. Yep. You're on the eastern seaboard. Sun's already set probably, and you know. Okay, well, I'm glad coffee's not going to affect you. And Red, you're getting in my way. Adjust the camera, because now you guys are off picture here. Alright, that's a little bit better. Anyway, I'll probably be getting back to work tomorrow a little bit more. I still may do a live stream, maybe a little later, if I get things finished. You know, what time works for you guys to kind of do live streams? I tried doing it in the morning, tried doing it in the evening. In the morning, people typically jump on. I will say that. So maybe I'll do one tomorrow morning before everything gets too crazy. I don't know. But I know that people have work. See, that's the concern. You know, I want to make sure that people do attend. So I was kind of hoping people would jump on. You know. But yeah, those of you who just jumped on, why don't you go ahead and hit the like button, ask me any questions. You know, Slick Six Guns here. We can chat about anything. We can chat about guns, gear, content, Q&A. You can ask about my herding puppy if you want. Shoot, we could even talk about coffee. Anyway. So, it's all good to see y'all. Anyway, I'm just glad everybody's enjoying the stuff. Wasn't sure if we'd do a live stream again today. It's kind of weird to have two in a day. But I kind of got the idea from another gun tuber, so I don't know. This may be effective, it may not. But just like with anything with YouTube, I just try it and see if it works. See if it takes. People have a tendency to poo-poo it, but, you know, we'll see. What'd you guys eat for dinner tonight? No. Ah! Bad dog. What'd you guys eat for dinner tonight? Let me know. So, I'd like to know. I know what I had is SpaghettiOs. Brad Wilson, what's good before I just joined? Well, anyway. Yeah, so Brad, we were just talking about a hammered double shotgun that I was posting. And I'll go ahead and just put the picture up just so that you can see. But this is what we were talking about, Brad. Yeah, this is what we were talking about. So if you have questions about the shotgun, my use of it, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off here because the green screen is irritating me. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about good, bad, and different about it, my experience with it, all that stuff. Have I won any stages with it? No. But then again, I'm not the competition type. Brad says, nice. And he also says, how old is the gun? Well, it is a reproduction, so I don't know exactly what year it was made based on the serial number because I haven't checked that. But to me, I want to say I've had it about 6 years. So it's older than 6 years. I know that for sure. But it's a good gun. I like it. Why are you chasing your tail? Crazy dog. Anyway, so I hope that answers your question. I apologize if I can't give you the exact age of the gun. I just can give it to you how old it is to me. Anyway, so. But yeah, so we were just talking about, the shotgun. You can ask me questions about anything. Cowboy action related. Red, calm down. Hey, shh, down. You can ask me any questions related, so, about that or about me or whatever. Try and get a dialogue going. We've done this for about an hour. So, had a little bit back and forth conversation. I'll go ahead and show everybody, we're talking about the shotgun. So, more people are jumping on. I'm going to go ahead and just show it real quick. So, this is what we're talking about, everybody, my experience. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll talk about it all day, or as long as people are willing to talk about it. But we were just talking about a hammered double shotgun. Unfortunately, I can't bring it on camera. So, but yeah, had some pasta, Peru. Okay, awesome. Yeah, as I said, I had some SpaghettiOs for dinner. I had SpaghettiOs and sardines. Eek. Salt, let me tell you. Not the healthiest, but to be honest with you, I'm here by myself, and I just didn't really want to eat anything else, and I kind of had a craving for SpaghettiOs. I don't know why. 36-year-old man wanted some SpaghettiOs. It's cheap, not the healthiest though. Anyway. Oh, and I did have a chocolate bar for dessert, so. How can I keep this beautiful figure? Well, I can keep a figure. I don't know if it's going to be beautiful or not. I am in shape. Round. Just kidding, I'm not that big. For 36 years old, I try to keep my waist in control somewhat. So, part of it is vanity metrics. I want to make sure I look good on camera. You know? So, imagine that. You guys keep me in shape. How about that? You know? Of course, I do get the occasional comment that says I'm fat, but I don't think so. I think I'm a little heavier than I should be, but I'm not egregiously fat. You know? So, but yeah. Anyway. So just kind of just some fun facts here. I think I already talked about this, but I'll talk about it again. You know, a lot of my analytics have a tendency to say that the people that watch my channel are somewhere between the age of 25 to 35. That's the majority. The majority of them are also United States residents. Understandable. Got it. Let me know how old you are in the comment section, by all means, if you want. Or if you don't want to disclose it, that's fine too. But anyway, hit that like button if nothing else. Go ahead and push this content out. Let people know that we're still here. Still talking. You know. But yeah. Well, you are shedding. You are shedding. You know, I'll probably at max go for another 40, 50 minutes. Just letting you know, guys, okay? Main reason is because I can't sit for that long. I can't sit for 2 hours without moving. Now, granted, I am in a rocking chair. So, I know that's kind of a 75 years old, Jack. Well, you have to be on the older side considering your experience. I get that, but congratulations, 75. Yeah. All right, man. Well, glad to have you on. Get down. Sorry, my dog's driving me crazy here. He's probably got to go outside, but I know that some people on this channel like having him, so I'm keeping him around. Trying to get him to jump up here, and at least so he can say hi. You know, I know that some people can see his nose. He's a very nosy dog. Have to say that. Roger that, says Jack. Cheers. When's your birthday? You got one coming up, or do you have one already? It's halfway through the year. So, anyway. But yeah, we'll go for probably about another 50 minutes, I think. If people are willing to stick around for that long. We'll just have our Q&A, chit-chat, and all that good stuff. You know. Had one. Well, happy birthday. I think Peru over here had a birthday too. If he's still on. He was telling me he had his birthday a couple days ago. So, happy birthday to both of you. My birthday's coming up. Still yet to come. Yep, I figured you were still here. So, Anyway, if I'm saying your name wrong or your handle wrong, please let me know. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't mean to mispronounce anything. I swear to God, I'm not illiterate. Nah, it's good. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just continue using the same terminology then. Uh, what else? What else? We can talk about anything, guys. Anything, anything. I'm here for you. You know? We got 5 people on. Hey, if you just jumped on, go ahead and hit that like button. We're talking about a hammered double shotgun. I'll bring it up on the screen here. If you got any questions, let me know. We kind of talked about, like, hey, what do I like? What do I not like? My experience with it. All that stuff in competition. This is a shotgun that I do own. So I do want to let you know that I do have some experience with it. Maybe you do too. Let me know in the comments. Okay? But yeah. Woo-wee. Thank you. A little sunny outside, which is a good thing. Sun's kind of coming through the windows. Anyway. It's actually kind of funny when I posted that poll. People, I was telling people, I was like, do you want to see me have a live stream? And I have a yes or no. I'm like, who says no? Who says no to that? I was kind of afraid because I thought the majority was going to be no. Usually people want to see videos. I mean, come on. Who says no? That's okay. I know people want to go to bed. I get it. Come on, man. You're messing up my camera, boy. So, anyway. Actually, you know what's something kind of funny as I was looking through live, because live video has actually changed quite a bit. Man, I was scrolling through some live video, and you wouldn't believe how YouTube has changed it. It's crazy. You can just go from one show to the other. It's just as quick as doing a short. And that's not how the way it used to be. So it's been a hot minute before I did live streams, and I found that out today. So, Johnny Doe, first off, welcome, 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 welcome. Make sure you hit that like button, let people know we're here. And your question is, any tips or tricks for getting primers to go off the most reliably on the hammer? Fire black powder stuff. Okay, so yes, I have shot black powder. That is a way. That is something that might be more reliable to go off, but then again, you could have other issues other than the primer. I mean, you can get a light primer strike or a good primer strike and the powder doesn't go off because it's messed up or moist or whatever, if so happens. Any tips or tricks? Yeah. So my recommendation for primers is, one, make sure it's seated right. You want to make sure that thing is seated good and in. Try not to buy old primers. Newer stuff better in my experience. I could be wrong, but I would say the majority of my false primer strikes have been with primers that were older. The newer manufactured ones, not so much. As far as brand goes, I would say CCI is really good. I have had very few issues with CCI primers not going off. And they're great if you've got lightened springs on a gun for a mainspring or something like that. CCI does really good. Winchester's a close second. That's my recommendation. Hopefully that answers you. Thanks for asking the question. Sorry, I guess I should say cap, not primer, but you knew what I meant. Okay. Well, I mean the cap, I mean caps on cap and ball revolvers, it's all the same thing. Um, yeah, same difference. And if you're talking about caps specifically, um, well, if you're talking about cap and ball guns specifically, are you talking about that, or are you talking about cartridge guns? That would be my question. Okay, that answers the question. Okay, all right. Well, just to kind of follow up on that, and I don't know if you knew this, but sometimes the hammer spring on a cap and ball gun is definitely going to matter. So, okay, so you meant cap and ball. Got it. Um, yeah, with cap and ball guns, the most sure way to make sure that those primers go off is you got a good hammer spring in there. Nice and I don't, well, you may have experience, you may not, but I'll just bring it up anyway. The older guns, an older gun might have typically has a stronger hammer spring because they wanted those primers to go off or those caps to go off. So, yeah, number one issue I see with cap and ball guns not going off is not a strong enough hammer spring. So that's my recommendation. And if you can't, if you don't have one in it, all you got to do is replace it. You got to replace it. You go to like Wolf Springs or something like that and buy that off of them. If you're not comfortable doing that, you send them to a guy like me and I take care of it for you. Because I've got my FFL and all that, and I can essentially take care of it. Obviously, I would run a business, so I would charge you. But if you can do it yourself, yeah, it is possible. So depends on what kind of gun you got, man. Let me know in the comments section what kind of cap and ball gun you got. I think you told me you had a Walker, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been someone else. Well, if you got a Walker, that hammer spring should be pretty good. And in fact, the hammer spring is actually different. Hammer springs, oh, I got a few. So which one is the issue with the cap and ball gun? Let me ask you that. Which cap and ball gun are you having issues with? The revolvers seem to be the trickiest. Okay, do you know the models? Is it a 62, a 60, a 51, a Remington? What is it? Let me know. I'm genuinely curious now. Hey, for those of you that just signed on, make sure you hit that like button, man. And also, just to let you know, we do have a raffle giveaway going on. We got a fundraiser. Go check it out in the description section. Thanks for joining the channel, though. We'll probably be on for another 40 minutes. So let me know, John. I'd like to hear what your revolver is specifically that you're having issues with. I'm all about the tech stuff. All about the mechanics, so I love talking about it. While you're at it, make sure you take a drink if you haven't done so. I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Grab your beer, whatever. Oh man. Anyway, well, John, please come back to me on the revolvers whenever you got a sec. I just need to know the model, and I can tell you if the hammer spring is naturally lighter on the Repro or what. Tell me the make and model, basically. But yeah, what else do we want to talk about, gentlemen and ladies? If we got ladies out there, I'd like to know. If you got questions, ask me. That's what I'm here for. You ask me about life, you can ask me about. Man, we could have so many debates here. It's great. You know, um, if we don't talk about it, or if I'm not comfortable talking about it, I'll let you know, and I'll just say I won't talk about it. And it's no offense against you. I want to let you know about that. Okay, it's nothing personal. So, anyway, but yeah, this is awesome, guys. Great conversations. Thank you. Thank you for joining. So, y'all got kids, family, anything like that? Grandkids? I know that we got a lot of people different ages on here. So, thanks for joining in. Probably as it wraps up closer to dinner time, Pieta 1858 Army Repro. Okay, I think you can still get a better. You can replace the spring on that pretty easy. So, I don't think you're gonna have a hard time. So that's what I would say. Just make the spring stronger. Get a stronger spring. Replace it, unless you know how to manufacture one. So cool. Thanks. Yeah, I seriously check out Wolf Springs. WOLFF Wolf Springs. They have a website. I go to them all the time. They ain't going out of business because a lot of people need springs from them, and they're good at it. So great guys. Great customer service too, and they also deliver reliably. That's my recommendation. Good. What other questions we got, people? For those of you that just came on, we were talking about a hammer double shotgun. Here we are. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about my experience with it. Good, bad, indifferent. Your opinions, my opinions. We kind of had the conversation a little earlier, but we can always bring back to it. Anyway. Hang on. Sorry. All right. There we go. Man, I messed it up. Okay, there we go. All right. Anyway, Corn, Jackie T. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the channel, guy. And, give us a thumbs up and all that stuff. Corn or flour tortillas? Flour. That goes without saying. Flour. I will not have corn. No. Flour tortillas all the way. Please tell me you like flour tortillas. If you don't, I won't. I won't judge. That'll do. You getting frisky? Feisty? Is that hammer double a 12 gauge? Yes, it is. It is a 12. I typically shoot 12, mostly in competition. I do shoot 20 as well. I prefer 12 because I know 12 for a fact you can get different, quite the variation in ammunition types. I shoot very light loads in competition, and the 12 gauge does well with it. So, anyway. Does it take modern shells? Yes, it does. It is a modern repro gun. It is not an original. So that is what I showed you is a TTN. It's a TTN shotgun that is imported by Cimarron from Italy. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I would say it's pretty good. So yeah, it takes modern shells. Jack Dorsey says, doing good. Give me the Hawaiian sign. Okay. Gotcha. Me too. I'm doing great. It's a great day to be alive, gentlemen, ladies. a great day to be alive. We're just shooting the breeze. Doing another kind of shooting. Shooting the breeze. I know I got jokes for days, guys. It depends on how long we go. Later we go, the more I drink, I can get real funny. Stop it. Anyway. Oh, man. But yeah. What else, gentlemen? What else we want to talk about? Anything. Got about 30 minutes left. The guy who brought on the flour or the corn tortillas. Flour tortillas, of course. What about you? Black powder substitute? Whew, okay. Well, I could give you my sarcastic answer. Or I could give you my real answer. What do you want? Oh, so you said a joke. Smokeless. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I like GoX. I do like GoX. Pyrodex. It's okay if you got nothing else. But if I can get GoX, I'll take that. So, but smokeless is a great substitute. Yeah, just don't do anything stupid, okay? I'm not advocating for putting a smokeless load into a black powder specific gun, okay? There's people that do, and there's debate on whether it's safe or not, but I'm not one of them. Don't do it in competition, though. Whew. You have an accident in competition, they'll be upset. Anyway. What else? What else? I hope I'm not boring anybody. I don't think I am. Hopefully I'm not boring. I know that people are coming in and out of the chat. I know that people are coming in and out of the live stream. I get that. You know, I know people have things to do rather than sit here and watch me for 2 hours. But if you can stick around, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. It's just fun talking to people. I think that's great. That's one great thing about the internet, and it's one great thing about YouTube is we get to connect with people. I think it's great that YouTube actually makes it pretty interactive as well, and they make it a lot easier. I think that's great. All the more power to them. No, don't you dare. You are being a pain. What is your semi-auto rifle platform? Okay, I got two. I like my AK. I have AK and AR semi-auto. My go-to at this point is my AK platform. So, you know what I would really like though, since we're talking about semi-autos, I would like a Remington Model 8. I think those are so cool. Man, the barrel reciprocates, helping recycle the action. That's crazy. And that must be it's a huge chunk of metal. That's insane. Not boring. Thanks. Thanks, Jack. Thank you. Yeah, I can only talk about the shotgun so much. Um, I can only talk about the shotgun so much. My likes, my dislikes. When answer people's questions, and then we keep this going and we just chat and whatever. So if people jump into on a live stream, they don't know what we're talking about. It's okay. They can always change the subject. Johnny says, "What time frame is the Model 8?" Um, if I remember correctly, it is sometime between 1900 and 1920. I don't know the exact year. Could be 1908, and that's why it has Model 8 after it, or it could be something else. I'm not sure. But if I remember correctly, it's sometime between 1900 and 1920. But yeah, it's a nice semi-auto rifle. Um, I want to say it shoots 35 Remington, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Thanks for asking, though. About to run out of drink here. Might have to change it up. But yeah. Dog's just sitting here with his head on my knee. He really wants attention. You've been sitting here for the last 2 hours wondering what I'm doing. He's like, please just pay attention to me. Please pay attention to me. All I want is a pet. That's what's great about a dog, man. Best life. I'll tell you what. You don't have the chance to sit in a chair and pet a good dog on the head and just enjoy life. Man, you don't know what's good. No shame to anybody who doesn't have a dog. I'm not trying to be a jerk about this. I'm just saying it's a good feeling. Nice to have a little friend sit by your side. Even though they can't talk to you, it's like they're always talking. How old is the pup? He's 3. Johnny says, how old is he? He's 3 years old. And he is a herding dog. He works with livestock. He works with me all the time. He goes where I go. Dog can't leave me alone. Shoot, he even sleeps. He sleeps in the same room as I do. Questionable on whether it's his room or mine. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. He can't. He doesn't put anything towards rent, but he certainly takes away. Like a third child. Then he goes and lies down and minds his own business for about 5 minutes and looks at me like he's, got those sorrowful eyes, and he's like, makes me feel bad that I'm not petting him anymore. Funny how that is. Anyway. But yeah. Yeah, we got about 15 more minutes. You mentioned that you have an FFL. What state is your FFL in? I'm in Texas. So, my FFL is tied to my residence, and it's tied to Texas only. So, yeah. Yeah, if that's something you want to talk about, if we want to talk about fixing firearms or anything like that and taking transfers, you would have to contact me through email, stuff like that. But I have to double check. I'm pretty sure I can work on just about anybody's gun, but I cannot sell firearms beyond my state, if I'm not mistaken. Good state to be in. Well, where are you, Johnny? Let me know. Where are you watching from? Which state? Yeah, it is a good state to be in. I like Texas. Doesn't really help me much, though. What state are you in? Colorado. What brought you to Colorado? Tell me about that. What brought you there? Oh, yeah. Colorado. Much like they say California instead of California. Okay. Yeah, Colorado. But what brought you there? How'd you end up moving there? Did you live there all your life? Are you from there originally? I used to have some relatives that used to live out in Loveland, actually. If that makes you feel any better. Not that it would make you feel better, I'm just making a fact. You know. Yeah, I had a big portion of family live out in Colorado. In Loveland. So. I'm very familiar with the Pawnee grasslands, too. Been around. I've traveled. Been to a lot of states. If you live in that state, maybe I'll let you know that I've been there. You know, I've been to Missouri, been to Texas, been to California, Arizona, New Mexico, Georgia, Oregon, Washington, New York, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. My now wife didn't want to live in Oklahoma, so a girl got me out of the land of the free. So you moved for a woman. Okay. Well, I'd say that's a pretty good reason. You know, how long you guys been married? You have any kids? Grandkids? Yep. How many kids? While you're answering that question, I got a few people who jumped on. So this is what we're talking about. We kind of had a major conversation about it. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a hammer double TTN. Yeah. We also have super chats. You know, it's kind of funny. I bring up how I get paid sometimes, and you know, I've never had anyone pay me through a super chat. Although that would be funny if someone did. But you know, I know it's not really awesome to ask people for money sometimes, but I'll be honest, it would be kind of nice to actually receive a super chat from somebody. If I don't, it's okay. I'm not panhandling at all. But yeah, I got 2 kids. I think they're a lot of fun. You know, boy and a girl. One's 6, one's 7, one's 4. No grandkids, thank God. They better not have grandkids. Been married to the same woman for 11 years. Met her when I was out of college. Thereabouts. So yeah. Let me know. Questions, personal or otherwise. You can ask me just about anything. Like these Q&As. Apparently, you gotta get richer followers for super chat. Oh, that's a shame. Well, everybody's tight with their money. I get it. It's okay. Yeah. I don't know how these guys, some of these guys get major super chats, man. I'm talking like the big podcasters. God, people give up hundreds of dollars in super chats. It's insane. I wouldn't even do it. But it's still cool to know that there are people out there that would do that. But I mean, you have to have some serious benefactors or some people that want to make some poor financial decisions. So no, the answer is I don't need rich followers. I need people that want to make poor financial decisions. That's what I need. I guess that's what everyone needs. Anyway, yeah. Ah, you're funny. Never gotten a super chat. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, I'm really selling it now. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm running my mouth. Probably shouldn't, but I'm a little honest. Couldn't tell. I like to tell it. I like to tell it how it is for the most part. I'm trying not to BS people. I hate that. I know there's people out there that do that. I know there's people out there that just BS on the on the on the marketing side. They just try to sell stuff to people, and I think I did that at first, but kind of as I got a little older and wiser, I realized that's just not what I wanted to do. So, it's all about consumption, and not that it's a bad thing to receive money for what you're doing. You just got to believe in what you're selling. I like to believe in what I'm selling. Me. Me and the content I have, I'm selling it. But you guys get to watch it for free. So, I mean, that's great. Unless you're a Patreon member. There's another one. So, I've had Patreon for years. I've had a handful of people join. So for those of you who think you make big money doing YouTube, that's just not happening. At least not right now. Oh, man, you're funny. Hey, Johnny, how old are you? Let me know. If you don't want to tell me, don't tell me. But I just thought I'd ask. You're married. It sounds, you're a married guy. You moved a couple times, been here and there. I want to say you're probably in your 40s. Could be wrong. But if I get it right, you owe me a super chat. I'm not over the hill yet, but I'm looking at it. So what age you? What age are you? Did I get it right? 40s? Didn't have to be specific. Mid-30s. You're my age, man. I'm 36. So. That's great. That's great. I got close. Got close. Didn't get it. Anyway. There we go. Yeah. Yep, I did get close. Thank you. Yep, so. You're my age, man. What do you do for a living? Yep, close but no cigar. What do you do for a living, man? Can't decide whether my battery's going to die before the time is out or what. I'm a disabled trans woman and I love guns. Well, welcome to the chat and welcome to the channel. I'm glad you love guns and you came to the right place. Welcome. Ask me any question you want. What? That's an interesting name you got. Sloppy Ball Nuts. Welcome to the chat and ask me any questions you want. We were talking about a hammer double shotgun, a TTN specifically. I can show you a picture of it if you wish. Got any questions on it, let me know. Or you can, I don't know, ask me questions about me. We're having a conversation about, all sorts of things on here. So, and if I ain't going to talk about it, I'll let you know. So, but appreciate you dropping by. Red, what are you doing, boy? Looking at me all curious like. Anyway. Sloppy likes AKs and ARs, goes both ways. I guess that's one way of putting it. Hell yeah, brother. Well, that's great. That's good. Oh man. Yep. It's a party now. Yeah, we got a whopping 3 people on. Well, it's a party. I'm just kidding. It's a party anytime anyone decides to join. Yeah, it's a party now. Definitely a party. I'll keep this going. We'll see. I'm not going to sit here and put a time limit on it. I don't know. I'm just sitting here in front of the camera taking questions, from you guys. We can talk about the shotgun. I'll bring it up again in case anybody wants to see exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, this is the shotgun we're talking about, my hammer double. Got questions, let me know. On that, I'm just here taking questions from the peanut gallery. We're just chit-chatting. So, anyway. Man, you'll probably notice in my comment section, on most of my videos, I usually respond. I pride myself on that. So I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, but I will toot my own horn on that one. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't. It's a damn shame. They should. What's the best and worst part about having an FFL? The best part is I feel if I'm going to sell a gun, I'm not going to do anything illegal. Because that varies based on state by state. In Texas, you can sell your gun to just about anybody, but, it doesn't require a background check or nothing as a private citizen. However, if you sell so many guns within a year, you're considered a dealer, and you would need an FFL for it. I don't know the exact number of guns. I think it's more than 4 a year. You can be considered technically a dealer. So then FFL kind of protects you from that, but the flip side of that is you got to fill out all the paperwork. I'd say the paperwork is kind of a, it is what it is. It's a federal firearms license. So, that's what they require. And it's just the bureaucracy of it, right? Because that's what the government is, a bureaucracy. So any government, I would say. But you got to fill out the paperwork for it. And then on top of that, they also could come in and check on you at any time. You do something wrong, you get your paperwork wrong, they can pull that FFL. But I have a Class 7, actually, which means I'm a manufacturer. So I don't tell people that very much, but I'll bring it up, Not that I expect everyone to know what a Class 7 means. It's okay to toot your own horn. Yeah, You got to do it. No one else will. So, but yeah, I do try to comment on to people. I try to respond to people in comments. I really do. Some people are generally interested. I want to say most people are. I get a few nutcases, and I don't want to say they're nutcases. I just want to say they're ignorant. They really don't know what they're talking about. I think they do, or they just want to try and prove me wrong. I'm kind of stubborn like that. I don't like to be one-upped, especially if I think I know the right answer, good or bad. That's just how I am. Uh, yeah. I don't know if she's still here. You said class 7. Is that one that lets you do a lot of the really fun stuff? Class 7 means I can manufacture. It means I can't manufacture explosives. And I can manufacture ammunition and firearms, is what I can do. But I cannot manufacture explosives. So if you wanted a custom build rifle, that's what a class 7 would require. Or it would require a class 7 to have. Shoot, even if you were building a flintlock and selling it. It is not illegal to build your own gun, but it is illegal to build your own gun and sell it. So class 7 kind of protects you from that. If you build a gun and you want to sell it, you can, legally. Yeah, I don't want to get thrown in jail. You don't want to do anything dumb. You know. Yeah, because I guarantee you what's going to happen here is my battery is going to drop down to about 10%, and once it does, I'm going to have to cut the live stream. It's not there yet, but once it does, then I'll let you guys know. Maybe give it a 5-minute warning. And then that way people can at least say their goodbyes or whatever. We can move on from there. But Johnny Doe, do you think the new legislation bringing down the SBRs and suppressors to $0 will make those things more common? No, I don't. And I think I don't think it'll make them more common because how many people actually buy suppressors? I don't know that answer. I know a lot of people that express interest, but then also they don't want to pay for it. I don't know how much it would be once you take that tax stamp off, but the tax stamp, to my understanding, is only $200 based on 1934 Gun Control Act. But I don't think it's going to make it more common. I mean, that is a specific item that specific people are going to want. Your average Joe isn't going to want it, or even know what it is. More than likely, they may have heard of what it is, may have seen it in the movies, but they don't know if they would really need it or want it. No, so I don't think it is. That's my opinion, though. Let's put it this way, actually. Since we're on the subject, I don't even have a suppressor. I don't even have an SBR. I don't have a light. I don't have the paperwork for it either. But I don't have one altogether. You know? So, I mean, and I've had firearms forever. But I've never said I wanted to go get one in particular. I mean, if you want one, by all means, go get one. You know? Not going to judge on that. I'm just saying I've had guns forever. I don't say I really want one, you know. I'm not screaming for one. I'd rather just buy another gun, to be honest. So, oh man. Got 5 people on. We got 5 likes. Can we get more? Can we get more likes? Yes, my thumb was weird. I know. I get a lot of comments on my thumbs. It is insane. I get so many thumb comments. It's crazy. It's hitchhiker's thumb. That's what it is. Cans are fun. They do look a little silly on cowboy guns, though. Well, I mean, you got the modern lever actions that actually are threaded barrels and all that stuff, and you know, it's kind of a. I don't judge on that one. I think it would look kind of stupid on the classic ones. You know, kind of mess up the aesthetics, but I mean, I guess everybody, it's their own flavor. If they want to do that to their rifle, that's their business, but I wouldn't do it to mine. My guns are too pretty as is. Cans are fun. They do look silly on cowboy guns, though. Yeah. On the old ones, yeah. They have the modern ones now that are made specifically to keep up with that crowd. It's interesting that they're actually, I mean, it's good that they're doing it. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I know people are kind of, well, why'd you take a classic lever action and why'd you take a design that's archaic and try to make it modern? I think it's great because some people prefer lever actions. It's like saying a bolt gun. I mean, it's just an action. That's all it is. You know, a bolt gun is old. Shoot, it's just as old as some of the lever guns that are around. Bolt guns, you know, from the needle gun, Prussians, I believe, way back in the 1800s. Now, mind you, it's not as old as the Henry, but as far as like rifle caliber, yeah, rifle caliber, lever actions, bolt actions, kind of around the same time. It doesn't make much difference. That's like saying, or taking a modern bolt gun and putting a can on it, and then, you know, and then saying that's uncool. So you do that with a lever action too, but the action is around the same age. Who cares? My opinions. If you don't like them, it's okay. I'm entitled to it just as much as you are. 7 likes, 6 likes. That's okay. We're doing good. Having a good time. You know? Oh, man. Oh, gotta stretch. Been in this chair for a while. Whew. I'm glad that we've been letting it go, though. Subsonic through a bolt gun or a lever gun actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I'm curious. Explain. I'm curious on that one, Johnny. What do you mean? How does it make sense? I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense if you want to do it with any gun. But why specifically a bolt gun or a lever gun? Man. Any of y'all on vacation right now? Summer vacation? No sound or gas escaping through the action like it would in a semi-auto. Yeah? Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess, but it's kind of a... I don't own a suppressor. Um, I know that they actually did an AR style lever. I forgot who came out with it. Maybe it was Palmetto State. They came out with a lever action AR. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was InRange TV that actually ran a suppressor on it. They actually said the recoil on it was a lot better. Probably because the mass of the bolt is not reciprocating, which makes sense. But, yeah, I guess what you're saying, yeah, gas escapage and all that, seals the action pretty good. A lot of it just goes out, all of it just goes out the barrel. Anyway, we're having a grand old time. Any of y'all watch my podcast yet? I've done some pretty good podcasts, from the coffee podcast to the Second Amendments podcast, which I need to continue. My next one, at least on that podcast, the Second Amendment one, would be the contemporary Second Amendment information. Think that would be interesting to talk about. But yeah. Well, we got 4 people on. That's great to hear. Thanks for jumping in. You guys have been consistently hanging around, so if you got questions, let me know. If you want to talk about something, let me know. We can always change the subject. We're still good on power, so I think that's what I'll do. I'll wait till we get down to 10%. I'm not going to charge the phone because I'm nowhere near a charging port. To be honest with you, like I said, I can only sit in a chair for so long. Yes, I am in a rocking chair. That annoys people. Let me know. I'll stop rocking so that it doesn't make people sick. Because I know some people get motion sickness. Sloppy seems to have a good sense of humor, but I'll keep it PG next time. I don't even know if she's on. She may have jumped off. Oh, man. Pardon me. Now you can actually see my head. How old is your dog? He's 3. 3 years old. Now you can actually see my head. I have a receding hairline. I have almost no hair. I look better bald, to be honest. Yeah, dog's 3 years old. Border collie. He's laying down right now. Kids will do that. Yep. Johnny Doe says kids will do that. Yeah, they will. Girls more so. Prove me wrong. Oh, man, we're at 10%. Oh, 10%. We got 5 minutes left. Where'd I get my name? Slick. Good one. Well, first off, when you join Cowboy Action, you have to give an alias eventually. You don't have to do it right off the bat, but it's customary that you have an alias. So I have a real name, then I have my alias, and I chose Slick Six Guns. Well, my mom actually thought about it. So when I told her I did Cowboy Action, she's like, "Well, that's what you should go by." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds like a great name." And looked it up because it's got an alias. You can look up who has taken certain names, and Slick wasn't one of them. But I went ahead and added on the Six Guns part because Western Six Guns, you know, so Slick Six Guns. So anyway, Jack Dorsey says 21-year-old in people years. Yep. So he is a adult, but he acts like a kid, and he is dependent like a kid. So. So yeah, we got about 3 more minutes. I did hit the 10%. Gave you guys a 5-minute warning. So about 3 minutes, we'll have to shut this thing down. But it's been a good one. I've enjoyed the conversation. In dog years, I'm already expired. Well, you're still around. You know? They probably think that way too. Maybe. Don't know. Yeah. Well, I've been enjoying it. Hope you guys have too. It's been a good conversation so far. Should keep it going for the 3 minutes we have. 2 minutes now. Gotta go. Good chat. See you later, Johnny. It was a pleasure. Have a good night. Well, last couple minutes. If you have questions, feel free to ask before we sign off for the night. It's been a good conversation. I'll take one more question, or we got 2 minutes left. Whichever one comes first. Good night. Keep up the good work. Will do. Thank you. I'm trying. Got about 1 minute. Night, Jack. Sleep well. Can't think of any questions. That's okay. That's okay. Think of something in between now and our next one. I'll probably bring up another topic, gun or otherwise. That's okay. All right. Okay, guys. Well, it's been a good one. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.